Surround yourself with great people. My name is Amit Soda, back again with the Business Spotlight interview series, this time with my name to it, but only by the first name. His name is Amit Ghelani. Welcome to the session, Amit.
Hello, Amit. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. Thank you for carving out some time from a busy schedule for this video podcast. But let's get straight into it by maybe you sharing a bit about what your business is and what kind of service you provide.
Sure. So my business is called Ghelani Studios. We specialize in event photography, and one our niche, our sort of key USP, is how we deliver photographs instantly to guests. So, let me ask you a question. Actually, if have you ever been to an event and you maybe seen a professional photographer walking around? It could be, somebody's birthday, a wedding, or it could be a conference that you've attended. See the photographer whizzing around. Maybe they've captured your photo. Have you ever seen that photo again?
No,
No. That's
very rarely, very
very
rarely.
rare, very rarely. And for me, that is a really, really big problem. And so what we've done at Ghelani Studios is we've leveraged all of this amazing technology that's out there and put it together so that we can deliver guests their photos on the spot at the event. So in 15 seconds of me taking a picture of you now, I can have that printed, branded, and on your phone as well.
Amazing, amazing. So it seems to me as if you really honed in the important concept of creating a USP for your business, right?
There's not a lot of people that do what we do. It's something that's been developed over the last 12 or so years. We did our first print on site event back in sort of
Mm.
2012. This is long before we were Ghelani Studios as we are now. But there's been a lot of trial and error and finding the best methods, and it's something that we've perfected now. And now, if you Google print on site photographer, we're the first second result on Google. It's what we're known for in the industry, and
Amazing.
we've made a name for ourselves in the B2B market. So we primarily do a lot of conferences and brand activations now and just help brands to extend their reach.
Amazing. So on that point, let's hone in over there. So for the listeners on the recording today, what advice would you share around the importance of creating a USP for their business?
USP is massively important. There's so many people that claim that they can do what you do. I mean, just look at how saturated the photography market is.
Mm,
Often when people ask me what I do, I'll say I'm a photographer, and they go, "Oh, great! Do you do weddings?" And it's normally the first response, and I say, "Oh, actually, no, we're B2B, and we do this really cool thing where we can deliver the photographs instantly." I think you've got to have a USP. You've just got to, even if you don't have a USP, you've just got to do what you do really, really well. My philosophy with our business is it's guest experience first
mm,
and then the photography, which sounds like it should be the other way around. You think that the photography and the exposure and all of that is the most important, but actually, the focus is always, is the client happy? Is the guest interaction where it needs to be? Are we
mm,
adding value to the event? Because if we're not adding value to your event, then don't book us. We're not for you.
mm. Makes sense. Makes sense. Adding value is so important. In a market that's so competitive, where there are so many people doing what you do, you've got yourself a USP, you carved it out, and that's what leads your um, business. Now, talk to us about afterwards, the kind of the guest service or the customer service or the customer journey afterwards. What would be the key principles, would you say, that you follow to ensure the customer journey afterwards is just as sweet?
The journey is really, really important. And one thing that we ask for after every event and also during the event is we ask for feedback. So anything
Mm,
that we can do differently, do better. So we've got a 4.9 on Trustpilot and a 5 star on Google. I think between the two platforms, there's something like 500 or so 5 star reviews. And yeah, we really, really, try and stay as active as possible on those platforms and really listen to kind of the feedback, not just from the guests who are walking away with their photographs, but also from the client. Like, what can we do better? How can we add value? It's really, really important to listen out because your customer will tell you what they want, and then
Mm.
our job is to kind of figure out how to do it. And we don't always have all the answers straight away, but by all means, we'll find it. And just being
Right.
organized.
Yeah, makes sense. And I like that we keep it so simple. Just listen to what your customers want and give them that. That way you get more of the same customers back. Makes absolutely amazing sense. Now, again, you're in a very competitive industry, plenty of photographers out there. Um, how do you go about winning customers? Um, what do you say to people? What do you do with people when you come across customers and they're looking through plenty of different photographers? What do you say to help differentiate yourself in that process?
There's a couple of things that we do. So one, we spend a lot of time and money on SEO during
Okay.
COVID, which obviously affected my business immensely. We pretty much shut down. So
Mm,
used that time to learn what I didn't know. There was gaps in my knowledge on SEO. There was gaps in my knowledge on social media marketing. And while
mm,
I couldn't go out and do photography, I could certainly learn those skills and start making changes to both our website and our social media to make sure that we were ready for the market when it reopened. And
mm,
now, after a lot of work, we're on the first page of Google for a lot of the key key search terms. So we get a lot of organic traffic onto our website, and really thought about that customer journey. So I know exactly who my ideal customer is. Just based on previous inquiries, it's somebody that's within marketing or an events manager for, say, a big brand,
mm,
and trying to look at stuff in the process of, okay, is the website clear? Is the inquiry form clear? Are you asking for the right information? And then are you responding to that inquiry quickly? And when they
brilliant.
do inquire, we've got an online PDF which goes straight out to them, and that's kind of got the rest of the information, prices, and it's all a lot of that is now automated. So
Fantastic.
somebody sort of sends an inquiry at 9 o'clock in the evening, as event people sometimes do, they've got the information at their fingertips.
Also, so it seems as if you really honed in the process of systemizing your business, so it kind of runs itself, and you've made good use of dead time when, like you said, photography wasn't something that was a business that was able to earn any money. You went and picked up some new skills that are needed for your business to help be ready when business back opens back up again. So over the last 5 or 6 years, you've clearly gone through a turbulent time from setting up, using COVID, and then getting to where you are right now. What would you say are your top two lessons you've learned as a business owner that you can share to the business community?
I'd say learn everything. When you're starting your business, you're not going to have, whether you're, somebody that bakes cakes, you're not going to have a booking every single day of the week. If you're a photographer, you're not going to be out on a shoot every day. So use those free days in between to to to
Mm,
to challenge yourself and learn. Because before you start spending money on SEO, before you hire an social media manager or invest lots of money in a CRM for your website, learn the manual way and do it, or do all of those jobs yourself, and
mm,
and do it to the best of your ability. And because then further down the line, when you have got the business coming in, when you do hire that SEO manager, you can be really direct and really clear and say, look, this is what I want you to do as my SEO manager. You're not letting them make all the decisions because you've now
mm,
understood the process yourself. And that's going to help you because then you're setting them clear objectives and targets. It's also going to help the person that you hire when you've outsourced that task because then you're giving them a very key, clear, and detailed brief.
Amazing. So
That's
kind
one
of
of the biggest lessons.
fantastic. Love it. Now looking forward to the next 3 to 5 years. God knows where the world is going to go. We've got a whole new hub in our machines called artificial intelligence, AI, and all sorts of wonderful stuff that's happening in the world. We don't know what's going to happen next 3 to 5 years, but if you were to have an imaginary crystal ball in front of you right now, forgetting the external world, what would you say are the top three challenges that you're likely to face in your business, do you reckon?
Challenges. I think the AI is certainly interesting. We're using a lot of AI within the business already, within the technology that we use. AI, I think it will be a challenge because it's getting more and more advanced. So something that we do a lot of at the moment is headshots. We go into clients' offices and we'll photograph, 150 odd people in a day. And the AI now is getting so good that you can take a photograph on your phone and the AI will clean it up beautifully and make it LinkedIn ready or usable for your website, maybe your about us page. So it'd be interesting to see how that's adopted and if there's still a place for a headshot photographer in 5 years. Because the honest answer is, I don't know. Um, so some will argue to say, yeah, there'll always be a place for us. And I think in the event space, you'll always want a photographer to kind of capture those moments. But there's
Mm.
certain services like headshots specifically that, you know, there'll come a point where maybe the AI can do a better job than what we can. But who knows? Other
So it seems that
challenges,
the challenge is that the technology may take over certain segments of
yeah,
the role of a photographer.
yeah,
And that makes
absolutely.
sense. That's probably going to be across the board everywhere in every business, right? If we take a look at accounting, the software nowadays, Zero and QuickBooks, does a lot of what, say, bookkeepers were traditionally doing before. A lot of the smarter bookkeepers have kind of thought, this is doing a lot of the stuff which can be automatable. So they're specializing in other things, which maybe at the moment the software can't do. So I think, yeah, automation and kind of taking over jobs is the norm, and I'm glad you're seeing it that has an advantage. I mean, so you're saying there was another challenge that you think you can come across.
Yeah, I mean, one of the challenges that I've got at the moment is it's great being on the top of Google and having all the reviews. It's getting to a stage now where we are probably oversubscribed in terms of some of the work that's coming in was getting spread very, very thin. So recruitment is quite tough. With still the industry still hasn't quite recovered from COVID, although it feels like a while ago. There's a lot of, we lost a lot of good people during the pandemic, and
Mm,
now sort of recruiting a really really good photographer with the skill set that we require. Because as I said, we're not just showing up and taking pictures. We know we're using all of this tech and AI, and we're rolling in high speed printers to our events, and it's different to a standard photographer that you would hire for say £100 an hour. So yeah, recruitment at the moment is really really tough even now, and the equipment that we use is there's a lot of manufacturing delays still in the Far East with the chip shortage. So there's still some knock-on effects that I'm personally facing with regards to that. There's so much stuff that I've got in the pipeline in the next 3 to 5 years, but we're at the mercy of the app developers and some of the hardware development as well. It's just sort of slowed down massively since COVID.
hmm I see, I see. But even then, you got a book diary, you got a packed diary, and you're still booking lots of jobs, which is always encouraging. So let's close off on one final question, if I may. What would be one important piece of advice you'd give to a young person, say a 20-year-old person starting out in business today? What would be your number one piece of advice to them?
I would say to somebody that's just starting out is I'll go back to my earlier point is just learn every role within your business. Learn the accounting, learn the social media, learn how to build a website. Don't hire somebody to build your website. Learn how to do it yourself. And bit by you've got to I think when I've from what I've experienced, having talked spoken to other business owners, is the ones that can do a little bit of everything initially and set themselves up tend to be more successful because then they've understood the
Mm,
work that goes into each step. And then when you're in a position to outsource, at least then you're able to set clear objectives and goals to your new hires essentially. And
brilliant.
yeah, just to keep at it. It's not going to happen overnight. You've got to be patient, and when you do go into something like a pandemic, just use the
Mm.
time wisely. It was actually a blessing, COVID, looking back, because we wouldn't be where we are today without it.
Loving the positive outlook. Amit, and no doubt you're a positive influence in your industry and the customers you work with. Some amazing shares you've made over here today, so generously. So thank you very much for that. I'm sure this is a very useful listen for many people today. Once again, thanks for your time. It's been a pleasure, and we wish you all the very best for the future. Thanks.
Thanks, Amit.